The United Nations is calling for de-escalation as Pakistan warns that India could strike the country within days. Tensions between the two countries reignited after militants killed 26 tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir last week. India claims Pakistan supported this attack, an accusation that Pakistan denies. Now, the U.S. did hold separate talks with India and Pakistan, urging both sides to work together to maintain peace and security in South Asia. For more on where the escalating tensions lead, we're joined from Waterloo this morning by Mariam Mufti, Associate Professor of Political Science at the University of Waterloo. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We have watched diplomatic relations between these two countries quickly dissolve. This past week, Pakistan closed its airspace to Indian airlines. India then ended a decades-long water treaty with Pakistan. And the concern this week is military action by India. Why has this escalated so quickly?
I believe that it's escalated this quickly because there's a lot of domestic pressure on both Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has, projected himself as a Hindu nationalist strongman, to act very, very aggressively on the state of Kashmir. Since he's been Prime Minister, there have been many, many attempts to control this territory and to reduce its autonomy with respect to the rest of India and other Indian provinces. On the Pakistani side, Chief of Army Staff Asim Munir is also politically besieged and also needs to stand his ground and show strength. So I think the situation has escalated on both sides because of domestic pressures, but also because I believe that India does need to prove that the tensions that have resulted in heavy militarization in the state of Jammu and Kashmir are for a particular reason. And when attacks like this happen, when terrorist attacks like this happen, without showing credible evidence, the Indian government tends to blame the Pakistani government. And then that just results in like this tit for tat across the line of control.
But we have seen it to the point now where Pakistan is warning that they have what they describe as credible evidence or credible intelligence that India is going to respond with military action. You know, Modi said this week that he gave full operational freedom to his military to respond. India, other than that, has not commented on this claim that an attack is imminent. So what type of military action could India be considering?
So India could be considering any kind of conventional kinetic warfare. This could include cyber attacks, but it could also include asymmetric warfare, including cross-border missile strikes or airstrikes. It could also be considering limited ground incursions.
India and Pakistan, we know, have fought 3 wars since the partition of India. The first 2 of those wars fought over Kashmir. The most recent major conflict was back in '71. So what could a war between the two countries look like today? You mentioned it could be cyber, it could be on ground.
Yeah, a war between India and Pakistan could very quickly escalate into a conflict that is beyond just conventional warfare. I mentioned acts of conventional warfare, but both India and Pakistan also possess nuclear weapons. And a miscalculation on the part of either military could result in detrimental consequences for the entire region, not to mention the neighboring countries, Iran, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, China, Russia.
Yeah, we are talking about billions of people in that sector that you just described. Canada, let's bring this home, is home to many members of both Indian and Pakistani diasporas. So what position could Canada take if war breaks out?
Prime Minister-elected Mark Carney has already said that he condemns the violence that occurred in India and Pakistan and that he urges both countries to exercise restraint. However, you're absolutely right. Canada is home to a tremendous South Asian diasporic population. We've already seen signs of conflict in British Columbia, where there has been rioting outside Sikh and Hindu temples. The problem is that the South Asian diaspora also brings with it its politics, and that politics can play out in Canada in a way if conflict were to break out between India and Pakistan over Kashmir. The second thing that I think Canada needs to watch out for is if conflict were to break out between India and Pakistan, that Canada typically maintains a peacekeeping role in conflicts such as this the world over, given that it's a G7 country. But that Canada's relationship with India of late has been quite strained ever since
Prime Minister Trudeau in the House of Commons accused them of murder on Canadian soil.
That's right, exactly. And so given these tensions between Canada and India, I think that Canada is actually in a very, very difficult position right now with respect to imminent threats coming from this region.
Mariam Mufti, Associate Professor of Political Science at the University of Waterloo, watching these developments closely for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.